In step 2 for scheduling, we're going to look at the section enrollment information and meeting times and instructor. As you can see, we've already built the course section information below. Next, we're going to click the next blue bar and go to section enrollment information. This is the easiest page because all you're doing is setting up the parameters of how many seats you're going to have. So just go ahead and put in that number and you're done. Remember, always save. Again, I'm going to hit F10 to save, opposed to going down here and save. And again, it just saves us some time. We've successfully saved. I'm going to move to meeting times and instructor. So for meeting times and instructors, this is really important. I'm going to kind of show you how to do up to 2 time periods. So if you're just doing like a regular class, like for the speech, it just has a regular class, right? So we're going to go ahead and under meeting times, if you click on the ellipses, you can actually select preset times if you prefer this, right? You can see these are military times that are already set for preset, right? So if you know a class is running, let me see if I can see any times that make sense for us. And that's the problem. The reason why we don't really use this is that our numbers, we don't start classes at 8, so we don't generally use this. Let me see if I see anything that's similar to what we use. So right now, nothing is similar, so we're just not going to use this. But eventually, we're going to see if we can get our courses times in here, and it will be a faster fix for us. So for now, we're just going to not use it. So I'm going to hit my tab and get out of that. And I want to stop at meeting type. Do not just skip past this. Meeting type does have an ellipsis, which means it has choices. So we need to then identify what kind of class is this. Is this a class? Is it clinical? Right? Is it online? Right? Is it a lab? That kind of thing. So you do need to slow up and not just assume that it defaults to CLAS, but you need to pay attention to what's really happening here. So we're going to go ahead and say this is a class. That's the meeting type it is. And then once you do select that, this will auto default. Now actually I'm not tabbing. At this point I can start clicking on these things. So I'm going to say this class meets Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I can come over here to my start time. Again, we're using military time. I'm over here. And I can scoot this bar over to bring it over so I can see it better. There we go. And I'm going to say this class runs from 8:30 in the morning. Put a 0 in front of it. So don't do the 8:30 thing. Make sure you put the 0 so it's 4 digits to 0945. Notice that it defaults to a session indicator, which is the first course. This is coded number 1, so section 1 within this course. Now let's pretend that this is a special speech course and it has a lab component. We know it doesn't, but just for the sake of training, let's assume it does. All I would have to do to add another session for the same course is to hit insert, which is right here. And it's just going to bring up a duplicate. See, it brings up a duplicate line. It's not complicated. I'm going to come here and say, wait a minute, I do change this to what? Correct. I said it was a lab. So now I'm going to say this is a lab. Click on that and hit OK. It auto defaults and I say the lab runs on Fridays from 8:30 to 9:45. I'll put the same time in. And when you're thinking of this, think of developmental courses that run this way. We can think of our science classes. We can think of our nursing classes. So just kind of, even though we're using this particular course, it can apply for various courses. Now I want to talk to you about the session numbers. The session numbers will stay 0101 if you have the same teacher who's teaching the class and the lab. Session numbers are associated with instructors, okay? So you don't need to change it if the same instructor is teaching both the class and the lab. But if I do this and I change this to 02, that would indicate, oh, it moved us, but let me see if I can go back. Let me see if it'll let me go back. Let me save this and see if they'll let me go back. It just advanced us to the next page. There we go. So once I put in O2, that indicates that I have a teacher who's going to teach session 1 and a teacher that's going to teach session 2. That's the only time I'm going to move to session 2. Okay, so that's going to come up a little later when I show you how to put in the instructors. But it's important that you understand that right now. So in your mind, you need to understand that a 1 or O101 means one session and just one instructor. Okay, so that's an important distinction to make as we're building this course. And I'm just going to take us back to it one more time. It's just advancing us. It's fine. Nothing's wrong with the system. It's just advancing us. So I just want to stick to that point. O1, O1, one instructor. O1 and O2, two instructors. That's a really good way of looking at it. All right. So the next thing it's going to do, we're going to build our courses, and that's a separate video. Okay, so again, we just reviewed the section enrollment information, which was inserting courses and course seats, and meeting time and instructor time information. Okay, so please advance to the next video to show you how to do building, locations, and section preferences.